All right, guys, it's Rick in with XLeads today. And today I'm going to show you how to pull the best motivated seller list within XLeads. And here's a really cool part. If you've never pulled lists before and maybe you just acquired XLeads, this is the video for you. I'm going to walk you through on how to get it started, how to pull lists, and then especially if you have never ever pulled a list before, let me show you how to do it. Once again, my name is Rick and I've been wholesaling 21 years, and me and my son developed XLeads for the wholesaler. It is the first all-in-one wholesaling software where you can start from pulling your leads to entering your customers in your CRM, talking, negotiating with your customers, then actually dispoing your deal and getting it sold inside of XLeads. And finally, you don't have to have 7 different types of softwares. You can do it all in one. If you want to learn more about it, go over to xleads.com. So let's go in. Okay, so we are in our dashboard. So here's what I want you to do. If you have any questions, put them in the comments, the easiest place. And what I will do here also, if anybody wants some help pulling lists, doing anything like that, I'm going to go ahead and post it in the comments here. After I go through and show you how to do the list, if you want to jump on one-on-one, or if you got a quick question, just put it in the comment. The idea is me and Zach have developed, we have procured this software. We know a lot about it, and we work directly with the developers. I am not like a guru that's going to put on some sort of corporate trainer and just say, follow this. How do you do this? We actually show you because we use it in our business. We believe that much into the software. So make sure I put the link up there in the comments, and we will go from there. So let me jump on in here. And so you have multiple ways that you can get to pulling lists. So you can click property leads right there, or on your left-hand side, you can go down and hit lead pipes and click property leads. These are the same tabs. So I'm going to click on that. And if I tell you what, is anybody out there, if you want me to pull a list in your territory, I'll actually do you one solid. I'll even send you the list. So if you want to be active today, I want to reward you. So if you put in the comments on what market you want to pull, maybe if you don't have XLeads yet and you want to check it out, consider this your free trial version. A lot of people say, hey, why don't you do a free trial? Guys, the reality is, if you understand how me and Zach operate, when we go all in on something, we know it's the best service out there. So free trials are usually kind of gimmicky, and you get charged $1 on your credit card, and it winds up just being a disaster. And honestly, we give you a 30-day money back guarantee anyways. So if you don't believe in the product, just send us a notification. We'll cancel a refund. I'm not here to play all the games with it. All the other softwares tend to play games with it. Start out with the basic package. You get a little as $49 on the prepaid plan. That's 50% savings over any other software you use out there. And remember, it's just not list pulling. You can use the full CRM. You can use the dispo tools and the upgraded accounts. You can market your properties in there. It's really cool, all the stuff you can do for it. So, okay, so let's do this. I'm going to randomly pick. So I'm going to pick someone I don't know. And let's go with Paul in Columbus, Ohio. So Paul, if you want to do me a favor, if you do not have XLeads, do me a favor and in the private message, or you can do it in the public message, send me your email and I'll download the list I pull. And that way you can go around and play with it. And if you want to give us feedback on it, that would be dynamite. So in the private chat, you can put it in there, or you can make it public. It's up to you if you don't want anybody else to see it. So let's just jump into it. So we are talking about Columbus, Ohio. So let me explain a couple things for you. So guys, you can put in cities, you can put in counties. And if you want to get like really granular, you can do zip codes. I got Columbus, Ohio there. And here's the most important of it. You see the search box down here? When it's spinning, let it spin. Do not interrupt it. The computer's analyzing, is trying to pull a lot of data. Don't get all panicky. Sometimes, depending on internet speeds, just be patient. It means it's actually working. So when that dial's spinning, you can go from there. Now, also, I want to let you know, when you're doing this, while it's thinking, and it does that, you can zoom in and out. And then if you want to if you want to switch to a satellite, you can do that. Sometimes it helps you find where the development is. I sometimes use it in some of the lower end neighborhoods because you can tell green grass from brown grass. And then you can use the draw a radius box, click that and draw a radius. So say you want to do like the south side of Columbus, you can do it that way. Now, I will tell you this, the map thing's much easier to navigate with it. hands down. So, okay. So it's searching. So while it does that, I don't know if it's just stuck on your city. You have a couple options here. So number one is your pre-set filters. And what I need you to do is when you go on, you'll see a little question mark on there. It will give you the exact definition of what it is. So the reason it took so long, it's 220,000 pieces, 220,537 pieces of data. So when the wheel's spinning, just be patient. Depending on your internet speed and a lot of other variables, it means it's working. Occasionally, you have to refresh it. So I'm going to show you how to do the pre-pulled set list. Now, these lists, or honestly, if you have no experience in wholesaling and you want someone to help you out with it, this is going to be, in my opinion, the best way to do it. You get Paul's stuff off of there. So as I said, if you have a question, put it in there and we'll switch each market every time we do this. So I click see results. That looks terribly confusing. I get it. But here's your initial one. It'll give you tags on the property. And here's what I love. It'll give you the loan to value. 0 means they have 100% equity in it. It'll give you the approximate retail value, the approximate rental value, and if you got it under wholesale. Now, guys, don't over focus on the wholesale number. These numbers are low. And honestly, so on this property on Star Avenue, if you got it for 114 and didn't need a ton of repairs, you would have a smoking deal. The reason why we put it in there, because as a newbie, you guys are constantly, how do I know if I have the right number? So we're not going to go into the comps and everything else today. So what we did is we're going to use the preset filters. So Paul, put in the comments what type of list you prefer to pull, and I'll pull for you. And while you're doing that, I'll do a couple little things. So we have an include and an exclude. This is really cool, guys. You guys spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to do list stacking, and you usually have to go to a different source. You have to download a lead. You have to pay for that service. Then you have to upload it in this new piece of software. Finally, you can do it all in one. So the first thing I want to do is go to the exclude button. And if you see this will exclude any type of these. So we don't want active listings. You know, my feeling with the whole realtor thing. And so we'll include active listing. And let's say, I just don't want any properties that are upside down. If you want to know what their definition upside down is when they basically owe more than the property's worth. So now that cut it down to like 208,158. So let me jump back in here. So Paul's going to do absentee high equity. Perfect. So the next thing we are going to do is, let me jump back in here. So do you see this right here? We're going to exclude active and upside down. I'm sure Paul's okay with that. And then let me make sure I got it right. Absentee high equity. So what we want to include is absentee owner. And so watch what happens to the numbers here when you do this. It should go down by logical order. So I like to do one filter at a time. Why? Because I like to see the net effect of when you filter something out in data. This is how you become a list building ninja. If you just click all the buttons, you don't know what the outcome is. Now, 220,000 pieces of data is going to take some time. The software works fine. It's working for you, so don't fight it, let it go. Occasionally, if it got stuck on there for a few minutes, I would refresh it, but it is a large piece of data. So we're going to do absentee owners, and then once we click onto that, we'll go to high equity. And I want you to understand, these are preset filters, meaning they've already done them for you. When we're done doing this, I'm going to show you how to do custom filters. So on the definition of an absentee owner is property doesn't live there, the owner doesn't live there, and they have a mailing address other than the actual physical property. That's simply how you identify an absentee owner. That typically indicates it's going to be a landlord. So as the wheel of thinking spins here, the next one we go down to is high equity. Now, it's important to note on the high equity here, it's based on the LTV. Full disclosure, a lot of you are used to pulling it based on the equity percentage. LTV is the opposite of equity percentage. It is the loan to value ratio, meaning the smaller the LTV percentage, the more they own the property. It is completely opposite. So we came up with a 0, and I must have put something on there wrong. So let me check my filters. Okay, so I forgot to clear my filters. So I'm going to cut this down, and it is researching again. So a lot of times when you do a preset filters, make sure you reset your filters. Sorry about that. So let's go back. So we are down to 53,301. So I am going to go back to our preset. And so if you want to get the preset filters, click the button down there. And so include, we got absentee owners, and now we're going to do high equity. Now, remember, I told you high equity is based on LTV. So this one does it for an LTV of 60% or less, which basically means somebody has at least 40% equity in a home or higher. Why is that important? Once you get below 40, there tends not to be a lot of room to negotiate for these people, and they're less likely to sell. So our recommendation is 60% or less. And remember, the smaller you make this number, the smaller your list is going to be. When you get towards zero, it means they own 100%, which means they don't have a loan on it. So now we're down to 6,702. So I click those results. And now here's the really cool part is if you want to download them all, you can just go up here and click them all and add them to your leads. I'm not going to do that. You can download like per page. You can do this based on distance, bathrooms, or anything else. So Paul, what I'd like you to do is put in the comments what additional filters you think we should put on there to narrow this list down. 6,700 is a good size list. Maybe you want to get it down to a reasonable list of 3,000. Remember, the idea is to get the most motivated sellers. So if you had a choice, what additional filter would you add to this? Anybody else can comment on this. We're going to help Paul. Now, Paul, here's the deal. With the AI filter, we recommend you getting one county. So I did not buy 3,200 filters for the entire country because I would go broke myself. You have to pay for this data. I'll share with you on the AI search on how to do my area, and then you can decide to do it with that. Remember, AI is very niche down. So if you're just going to do Columbus, Ohio, and do that, and you want to do the AI section, you can do it under the Pro or the X plan. And our recommendation is to move that around every 30 days. I know I drive the developers nuts with that, but I try to give you guys the absolute best value because in a year, you can get 12 different markets and attack them. Now, I like AI, but to me, it's more of a niche list. When you're trying to pull high equity absentee owners, you're trying to get some volume. So AI is not as, to me, it's not as critical when you pull these types of lists. So Paul's going to add vacant. We're not going to do a free and clear because we already did that. So let's do vacant. So if I want to add vacant and I do the preset filters, and now I'm working in the list stacking, I'm going to go down to vacancy. And how do we calculate vacancy? It's reported by the United States Postal Service. That's right. When they stick that little green card in your mailbox, that goes on a special list. So here's what I'm going to do is click vacancy. Let's see what happens to the number. And it should whittle down. Now we're down to 245. So I'm going to click see results. And then you can do them based on, you can sort them by distance, bathroom. Now, one more filter I'm going to add for you, Paul, which I think would be helpful. So I can do tax delinquencies, but I'll show you the demonstration when we do that. So as you keep list stacking, it gets smaller and smaller. It's the whole point. You're trying to identify multiple pain points. So if I do, so let's tax delinquents. It might wipe them off the board here. So delinquent taxes, let's see what happens to the number. So now we're down to 17. So here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take that off there. And you see that here's the really cool part. Check this out, guys. It gives you the tax delinquency right on there. So if I click on the first lead I have on here, let me click. So this one's actually listed. How it got on there is beyond me, but I'm not an MLS guy. Let me make sure I had on there exclude. Oh, because we didn't exclude active listings. You see? Now we're down to 16. We got rid of that property. So now we're on the top property. If you click on here, it'll give you insight. This is basically what the highest end number the property's probably ever going to earn. This is the monthly cash flow on it on the rentals. And this is a wholesale value. Guys, these wholesale values are low. Me and Zach did it on purpose because we want you to shoot for the lowest number. Use go for no. And before, you're always like, hey, can you run comps? Can you tell me what I need to offer? The wholesale number fixes all that for you in there. And then you'll see the tags, which our XLeads software automatically identifies for you. Absentee owner, high equity, delinquent, vacant. I mean, guys, this is awesome. So what you can do is you can just click this to add my leads, and everything's in there. So here's what I'm going to do for Philip. I'm going to go back and fix. I'm just going to take off the delinquent tax. And then what I am going to do is I will download this list. If you send me your email by the end of this live stream, I will go ahead and send this to you. And let me check my, oh, wait a minute. I only did 25 of them. Let me go back to list. So here's the really cool part, guys. You see this, it memorizes the list you pull. So if you ever screw it up, and it'll pull it again. So what I want to do is select all 236. They add it to my leads. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to, so you can save it to your CRM. My recommendation is don't. These are prospects. Once they engage them, then you add them to your CRM. So I'm going to download this. You click standard, and here's the cool. You can decide which stuff you want to include. I always include property details, and I'll even do valuations. And I'm going to go ahead and export this, and Paul, send me that information, and that will give you your list. It's all recorded. You can go back to it, and we'll do that. Now, remember what I said here is if you want to, say you want to do a specific area, I can sit here and draw a map and do it just like this. So if Paul knows Columbus good enough and maybe he's doing the east side or the south side, you could run a list basically on that. So you just complete the square like that, and then it will run the data for you. So you see how we have that? And so you can take a large county and you can section it off. That's what I do in Florida. I do it all the time. I just don't want to do Florida every time for you guys because you guys get annoyed with it. So awesome. So that is our first list. So guys, put in the comments the type of list you want to run. I'm just going to show you one more time. Let's see here. We're going to go through all of them. So let's do this. Let me go back. I'm going to remove the leads just so we have a clear place to go to. So let's go back to our property leads. You just click on that. And then once again, on the preset filters, everything's in here. Let me just show you something. This is kind of an off the wall one. You guys know how to pull all these. They're all preset. So say I want to do pre-foreclosures, a big one. Okay. Someone give me a city for pre-foreclosures. I'll pull them for you. You've got to send me your email address for me to send it to you. And you have to do it by the end of the live stream. Those are the rules. So if somebody wants some pre-foreclosures and you don't have XLeads, let me pull it for you, show you the power of the software, and then you can kind of evaluate it. If it helps you out, that's phenomenal. Put it in there. I'm going to do the AI filter. I promise. Somebody give me a city. Come on. Or I'm just going to like pick randomly. Let's see. What do we got? Okay, we are now going, I got one. So let's go ahead and pull it. And we are going to do, I'll do Florida because I got somebody asking for it. So I do Brevard County. Now I like county data because it's big. Remember, I have filters already set. So I've got to wipe them out. This one's already set for pre-foreclosures. I already clicked it and perfect. So pre-foreclosures, this is crazy. And then I'm going to exclude active listings. So in the county of Brevard County, if you guys are looking for leads, this is insane. 3,200 houses in some sort of pre-foreclosure stage. Look at this. Here's a perfect property that would identify types of motivation. Now, this one's listed for some type of, but it gives you everything. Absentee owner, high equity, pre-foreclosure, vacancy, zombie property, and utility lien. Guys, I mean, this is absolutely amazing. So these are the type of lists that you can find in XLeads. And guys, if you're used to running like really robust lists, you can also go over here. Let's do this. Take off pre-foreclosure. And so one of the things I like to do when I add is, so when you go under the filters, you can go left to right. Now, remember, the filters I show you here, these are all preset. And if you want to know what the presets, read it there. You can exclude and include. That's how you do list stacking. Now, you can actually, I could take this list. So I've reset it on there and just say I wanted to do high equity, which is a lot of list, which is a great list to pull. 100,000 is a lot. So if you want to do more custom filters with it, the first thing I do is go down the property valuations, put in your average median price and go below it. So I know this market well. And then basically I'm going to put the max price at 325,000. Remember, I'm looking for like blue collar types of houses. So when I do that, we go from 245K down to 30,000. And you can see if I drop down to 300,000, watch what happens. 22,000. If I drop to 250, which will radically drop it, watch what happens. This is how you learn how to pull lists, guys. You have to put in a filter and see what the result is, 250,000. And then you could go down to ownership information. So I believe if you go under the preset list, if I go under high equity, it's only on 60%. So what I want to do is I'm going to go to list filters and say, listen, I only want people that have been in there at least 5 years or more. And you can go as detailed as you want with this list. Let's see what it pushes down. 20,000 down to 6,000. You can do original owner, owner occupied, in-state absentee owner, out-of-state. I love out-of-state absentee owner, but it's going to make the list very small. I put it in there, watch, 376. And then on the left side is a very clear marker of all your filter criteria. Guys, you can do this stuff all day long.